You are the filth of the streets of Laredo. I have something in common with you, though. I too believe in death. Death sentence. I too feel justice needs to be served by death, and that is by killing you. No more tax dollars should be spent on you, on your meals, your housing, your medical bills when you get sick in jail. The only good of you now really is to donate your organs, if anybody would even want them.
Wow. Guys, just coming live here, I apologize.
My name is Isabel.
This happens every time.
I'm Shirley's older cousin. She was my little cousin. I stand here in front of you to let you know that Shirley and these girls were alone. They were not alone. You said that Shirley and these girls were nothing. You said they were trash. You said many harsh words. First, these girls did not do drugs because they were evil. They did not do drugs because they wanted to get high and have a good time. I'm a psychiatric registered nurse. I study these type of human behaviors. These girls did drugs they were self-medicating. They were using street drugs to cope with life problems. They were lacking the proper coping.
Kept it legal, but I drove fast.
They needed help. What you did was not helping them. It was not cleaning the streets of Laredo. I hope that one day you can see. I hope one day you can see that you did wrong. And I hope one day you can see how many families you hurt.
This is bizarre. This is so quick. Texas does it different.
He said that youngest child. I was 14 years old when he took my mom away. I was immature. I couldn't understand and comprehend the situation. And real honesty, I wanted you to feel my pain. Real pain. You robbed me from meeting my mother and getting to know her as a person. Yes, my mom was she was a drug addict, a prostitute. She maybe didn't mean nothing to y'all. She meant everything to me. And you robbed her from me, getting to know her as a person. Because she wasn't just that. She really wasn't. And that's okay. She lived the way she lived. That's her problem. That's her lifestyle. Yes, we get it. But fast forward, I'm 18 now. I haven't gotten closure, and I'm not sure I ever will. I've struggled with a lot coming to this age. Anger mostly. I wish I could make you feel pain, to be honest. And I hope one day you do get the pain you deserve.
She locks eye contact with him.
It's like it made me go numb
she says
to this point. I don't feel sadness. I'm mad. I'm real mad. But I can't be angry no more. I can't. So I forgive you. Like my mom said, God forgives you and He loves you. And I know deep down you hate yourself for murdering her. You even said it in your confession and everything. Trust me when I say what she said is going to be on your mental for the rest of your life. She was a compassionate person. She loved people. She really did. She loved her brother. She loved her tia. She loved everybody. She loved everybody. And even after you killed her, what she said, she wanted to help you. She wanted to help you. You were suicidal? Who was there? My mom. My mom tried to help you. That's not okay. That's not okay, bro. And she was everything to me. For a fact, I know she loved her children, but her lifestyle and demons took over. And speaking for my siblings, and you, Juan, cheated us out of ever getting to hear her side of the story on why she gave us up. and understanding on what made her into the person she was. I know I said I forgive you, but deep down it's not for you. It's really not. It's for me to find peace of mind. Karma is a big thing, and your karma is just solely starting from here. Trust me, you're not going to make it in there. I hope you don't. And you will suffer. In my heart, I know. I hope and I know you will not make it in there. And surely you know your day is coming up. And then, God bless you and your family, because you tore your family apart just like you tore ours. And you will suffer. Promise you, you won't make it in there.
This has been a whirlwind. The jury came back with the guilty verdict. He immediately was sentenced to life in prison without parole, and now we have victim statements. He's in shackles in front of the family members as they're reading their victim statements. He's going away for life. He's already announced that he is going to appeal. He's asked for a lawyer to be represent him in that appeal, so we know that will happen. But now we have victim statements. Just crazy fast. Texas does not mess around. DB would still be arguing subject matter jurisdiction right now, but in Texas it's done. And I have questions about that. It seemed like there's only one charge, the capital murder charge. They didn't address the ones that involving Erica, or maybe they did. Maybe it was all just in one big lump sum. We found him guilty of everything.
AKA Juan Ortiz, youngest sister. As the youngest sibling, I never thought I'd be going through this experience right now. It's a lot of emotions. You probably don't know, because you don't know it's like losing a sibling. On September 15 of 2018, a piece of me left unexpected. Everything went blank. Nothing sad enough. But she knew how to fight back. She wasn't afraid. I had to go look for her because I could have not been the transgender we all thought. But after finding out it was you, Juan Ortiz, you left me with no words. You had everything in life as a border patrol agent. How could you? Why didn't you put up a fight against Janelle? I guess not so tough, right? You had to end her life. What triggered you to go through it? Like if there were dogs, taking them on a cruise and then thinking it was? Because you weren't doing anyone a favor by cleaning up the streets. It was not your duty. My sister and her friends were in trash for you to go do what you did. You don't know the love they still had at home. No matter what lifestyle they chose to live or battles they had, they were loving. They still had kids to go home to.
I didn't realize they were dropped. Thanks for the clarification, guys.
It has impacted our lives in the community. Foremost, I'm not the same person I was. I had a smile before getting that traumatic call that changed my whole life. I used to be full of life. I was looking forward to meet with Janelle to register for college. She always loved occupying me Sadly, I don't get to hear that no more, nor her reminders to keep my head up high and that I'll always be safe while she's alive. As I'm here talking, expressing my feelings of how you affected not just me but other families, I just can't seem to stay mad forever about it. I'm mad at the fact that you gave your word to protect the border and serve the people, yet you felt you betrayed your badge in the system. We're all grieving. I just don't know how I will forgive someone who showed no remorse. I never put myself in this situation growing up. But in order to move on with my life, God says otherwise. I can't question him because he has his reasons. But I know Janelle would have fought hard. I don't have hate towards you. I just hate the fact that you didn't have a heart while doing it. As we suffer these past years, you deserve to suffer the consequences. I don't desire nothing bad towards you but me. Just to her. Because what you caused was nothing pretty. My sister is gone and so are her friends. You are still breathing, but I have faith and I believe you will get what you deserve. I pray your family doesn't go what we went through. They're not to blame, but you took 4 lives in the most cowardly way.
That's all the state has to.
Anything else in the defense of the state?
No, not on the.
Okay, I'm going to remand the defendant to the custody of the sheriff's department at this time.
Yeah, and he's gone.
Court's adjourned.
That was the gavel.
I need someone to take.
That was the gavel. That was it. Wow. Let's see what's we've got another feed here, just to look over the courtroom. He's already been hauled out, right? He's already out the door. Unbelievable how fast that went, how quick it was. Prosecution now hugging each other, probably going to give hugs to family members here in just a moment. The family members are hugging. This was the outcome they were waiting for. But to see them, some of them forgave, some did not, and that's their choice. I'm not going to fault one or the other. But to see them standing just feet, probably the closest they've ever been to the person who killed their family member. And saying that was a surreal moment. Cup of Joe, you missed it. You blink and you miss it here in Texas. I mean, they went so fast. We had a verdict. Basically, we knew there was a verdict the moment that the judge said, "Stand, let's bring the jury in." There was that much warning. So you guys blew up the burner phone so fast, and I was in the middle of talking to something. I could not go live. I'm in the middle of something that I could not go live during. 15 minutes from the house, I'm like, I'm running right now. I'm running. I made a quick live stream out to the car. I'm not even sure if it uploaded successfully. I did try to tell you guys I'm on my way, but just crazy. Now people are filming from the courtroom as the family leaves. Interesting for sure. This has been crazy. I'm not sure how I missed it. How did I miss that the 2 charges relating to Erica were dropped? I mean, I can see the difficulty in getting a conviction there, because it basically came down to a he said, she said, right? There was no physical evidence. He did not confess to doing that. I don't think there was as much confession about anything regarding her. Like when he said it, his gun was in the holster, and so it's basically his word against someone else's. And when there's no physical evidence, I can see the difficulty in getting the conviction. But yeah, the woman sitting behind Ortiz is now broke down crying in the gallery, says CG in Texas. They were on the defense side, possibly the mom. Also a victim in this case. Just on the other side. Did his wife ever appear in court? Not that we saw, ODD. Kathleen, rewind 5 minutes. That's about how long it took. It was so fast. Well, really, I think it was about 20 or 30, but it was so quick. The jury came back. We never heard what the question was. We were teased with the idea that they might have a verdict, or maybe it was just a question. Never heard what it was, and then boom, it was done. The judge was saying, "Here's the verdict." He read it. They did poll the jury, so everyone said that was their decision. Everyone said yes, all 12 people. It was unanimous, which it has to be, and it was over. That is bizarre. Yes, sleep well now, right, Terry? Yeah, we can. He is going to appeal. We'll see what the appeal does. I mean, if this issue, if that evidence should not have been brought in on appeal, that's what they're going to be focused on. I'm sure that's the first thing they're going to appeal. We did see that quickie notice from you. Oh, wonderful. I'm glad it went through. It was in the middle of the dark. It was dark. I didn't have light. I was standing by my car, just trying to put word out. But I blinked and it was over. Yeah. Sorry for that. It was fast. 2 charges were dropped. The 2 that were dropped were the ag assault and the unlawful detaining or something, the unlawful imprisonment, or 2 charges related to Erica in the vehicle. man, didn't know that about David Ortiz's dad. Your quick live stream uploaded. Thank you, MB. Was it just one life sentence? Yes, because they went with the capital murder charge. Instead of the lesser included murder charge for each individual person, they went with the capital murder charge, which was 2 or more guilties, that means that is an automatic capital murder, life without parole, automatic. And it's quick. By automatic, it was moments later. I'm not sure what just happened here, but maybe we can take that scene instead. Let's see, the physical evidence in Erica's case was the blouse. There was, but her story on the stand, her testimony, she said she doesn't know how it came off. I mean, it was like, there's really only one possibility, as she's describing this. And I was hoping that the prosecution would do a better job questioning that and bring that story out, but it just didn't come out on the stand. And I think that's why they probably dropped the charges. Wow. I did miss just a couple of the family statements. I caught up a little bit late, so I've heard the first couple of minutes, and I jumped to the current time and watched the end with you, so I might have to go back and watch the ones we missed. Can someone share the exact verdict, please? Cup of Joe, it was guilty of capital murder, which carries the automatic sentence of life without parole. It was carried live on SATV, San Antonio TV stations, and WFAA in Dallas, too. It's over. You missed it. It's quick. We can go back and watch it. We're not going to do it on this one, but you can go back and watch it on YouTube. There are a couple streams that you can go back and watch on. Law and Crime will have it, possibly WFAA, if they live streamed it at the same time. Tomorrow's bond hearing for the model trial, where you might have to check that one, Rick, to see if she gets out on bond. I don't think it'll happen. Do you know the time for that trial, Rick? Still hard to deal with. Yeah. Can you replay the guilty verdict? Let me see if I can get to that point. It's basically a single moment in a 9-hour live stream, so it'll take just a tiny bit to find it. Just 1 minute here. Okay. People are still leaving the courtroom on that feed. Just to jump back, I have to sort of scroll carefully here. Give me a second. We'll have the verdict.
Would you do?
Murder.
We're just backing up a little bit here. I'm going to turn off the audio while I do this, just so it doesn't confuse everybody. Okay, we're just about there. Okay, we're going to take it right here. Audio on. We're going to go back and rewatch this, just the first part. This is, as everyone's coming in, he's just been brought in and seated. Just for CG in Texas, we're going to replay the guilty verdict. So you can see just how fast this was. It was so quick. We watched 11 hours of interrogation for 2 minutes of verdict. 2 minutes, if that. Okay. Gonna wait for everyone to stand. I'm not sure. There we go. Here we go.
I don't know. Thank you. Jury's reached the verdict. Can we bring the jury in, please?
This happened just moments ago. The appeal will only change something, Michelle, if it's granted, and then he'll be let out on appeal. But that just means a start over, a new trial, possibly, or maybe that means he's free in this case, because it depends what the appeal is granted for, what the appeal is. Yeah, I did not catch this either. I appreciate all the heads up on the burner phone. Everyone's like, "Go live now!" I'm like, I'm literally sitting down in a meeting with somebody, and I could not. We're not going to go through the victim statements. We're just going to go to the verdict, and I'll stop it before the victim statements.
You may be seated. Has the jury reached a verdict? Was it a unanimous verdict?
Yes, it was.
Can you please hand the verdict form to the bailiff?
Sounds like there was a lady who was the foreman. Shell, anytime. That's what I'm here for. You have questions, I have answers. That's the deal. Is Juan David's mom still living? I believe she might have been the one in the courtroom. It's
Can the
possible.
defendant please stand? In front.
So the defendant is supposed to stand right in front of the judge, and so you'll see the bailiff. The bailiffs move in on both sides of him as this happens. Even the tire stands with the victims' families. I don't know where the tire is.
We, the jury, find the defendant, Juan David Ortiz, guilty of the offense of capital murder as charged in the indictment and as instructed in this charge.
Do you see the DA?
Signed by the presiding juror. This is your verdict, correct?
Okay, I'm going to rewind that just for a second. Watch the DA. Okay,
As charged in the indictment.
watch the DA. Just keep your eyes on the DA.
Verdict form. We, the jury, find the defendant, Juan David Ortiz, guilty of the offense of capital murder as charged in the indictment and as instructed in this charge. Signed by the presiding juror. This is your verdict, correct? Thank you. Mr. Ortiz, you heard the jury's verdict. You have the right to allocution, which means you have the right to make a statement if you wish. Okay, so they're asking for the jury to be polled, so meet the juror list. Well, I'm just going to call you by number from the back. Juror number 1, can you please stand and tell me, was this your verdict? Well, okay, in the front.
Guilty.
Juror number 2.
Guilty.
Juror number 3.
Guilty.
Juror number 4.
Guilty.
Juror number 5. Juror number 6. Juror number 7.
Guilty.
Juror number 8.
Guilty.
Juror number 9. Juror number 10.
Guilty.
Juror number 11. And juror number 12.
Guilty.
Thank you. You may be seated.
Yeah, I think you're right, Jay Hughes. 8 women and 4 men.
Mr. Ortiz, as I was saying, you have the right to make a statement if you wish. Would you like to make a statement at this time? No. Anything else?
Nothing for the defense.
All right. And Mr. Alanis, were there going to be victim impact
Okay,
statements?
so here they.
Your Honor, after the court
Okay.
sent the closure sent.
I just wanted to make sure that.
Yes, we
Yes.
have representatives of the family that will.
Okay, so we're going to go ahead and turn this off here right now. So they're going to go ahead and make those statements. So that's what we caught up on the end. But yeah, the DA, party at the DA's house as default subscriber, DA was a little bit happy, just a little bit. There was a powerful fist pump reaction, as Jojo Peter says here, but powerful. He thought, I think he was confident. You didn't see the reaction until he said guilty of the crime of capital murder. He wanted that capital murder. So he did not celebrate as soon as he heard guilty. In his mind, there was no question about whether he was going to be a guilty plea or not, a guilty verdict or not. He wanted to make sure it was guilty to the capital murder, which is the highest charge they went for, because they could have found guilty for individual counts of murder, which would have options of parole, but they didn't. He should have made a statement. Then Matthew Harris, good question, or good point. Would that have impacted any appeal if he made a statement to that point? And if he is still maintaining, at least the front that he wants this appeal because, it wasn't fair, would him confessing then or saying, hey, yeah, I did it, I'm sorry, or something like that, would that be used against him on an appeal, or could that be excluded? You would think he'd at least have something to say. How about forgive me? They did without him asking. So many of them did. Or at least they said, I forgive you, not for you, but for me. A coward running, hiding, shooting in the back, the whole thing. Yep. The prosecutors did work their butts off. We've had our complaints about them. And we all even know that one of the ADAs has complained about the prosecution and that office. It may have some issues that need to be sorted out. I'm not sure if it requires a new leadership or not, but in this case, they got what they were going for, which was a guilty verdict on the highest charge of capital murder. Let's see. He didn't even he didn't even respond when the judge asked if he heard the jury's verdict. I wonder if it was some sort of appeal ploy or just him being a coward and choosing to nod like a guilty child. I don't know. Unless he gives a statement, I doubt it. We do think that there may have been some family there, for sure, on his side, but I'm not sure. It might have just been his mom. 4 years of relief from the DA. It was a long time coming to get to this point, with the pandemic and everything else that delayed it. Apologizing to the families would have been nice to hear from Mr. Ortiz. Katrina, we don't know if his wife divorced him. I've got suspicions that may have occurred, but maybe they just didn't want to show up because, the whole thing. Sadly, even though they're innocent victims in this as well, sadly society sometimes paints them with the same brush, and they could have been the recipients of some very unkind behavior had they shown up in court. He couldn't even tell them, I'm sorry. He didn't. Throughout the whole thing, he's got this not guilty pretense that he's maintaining. Feels bad for his kids. They have to live with what their dad did. That was sort of heartbreaking, hearing the jail call, hearing him talk with his little kids who, for half their lives he's been in jail pending this charge. His statement at that point wouldn't have been testimonial. They wouldn't have had the chance to cross-examine him. He should have just apologized for the pain in the hearts of the families. So it was just cowardly. That's it. He won't apologize because he's not sorry. You can tell by his face, no remorse at all. He did seem to be focused a lot on him. Just when we heard about his jail call with he was talking about the book, the Casey Anthony book he was reading, where he feels like he's been wronged, like he's the victim. No more tallies for JDO. No impact statements for the defense. Yeah, that's what we heard. They don't have anyone who wants to speak on his behalf at this point. No one wins in this. Both lost sadly today. It is a sad outcome. I mean, they're sad people on both sides. Matthew Harris is going to do a quick legal check to see if he's still married. Not if Matthew is still married. Matthew would know if he was married or not. But if Juan David Ortiz is married. What is a prison he will be in? I don't know. We could probably look it up. I saw some of the closing arguments. What evidence did the prosecutors have that the defense was trying to get the jury to ignore? The evidence that the prosecutors had that the defense really didn't want them to consider was anything that was found in the truck or subsequent to searching the truck, and anything that was said during the confession or subsequent to the confession as a result of the confession. All the fruit of the tree, the fruit of the evil tree, or something like that. That's basically the whole case. They wanted them to ignore the whole case and say find him not guilty because this was a violation of the law. It was an unlawful search of the truck, and it was a coerced statement, as coerced confession. Lucrative book deal. Yeah, I don't know if there are going to be additional hearings. Maybe Matthew might help us on this. In Texas, does he have any sort of? Is there any sort of hearing where the families could possibly sue him civilly, and he could have a judgment entered against him that any revenue he gets from like a book deal or movie rights or something like that could be awarded to the families for damages. I think his status as a person who fights for justice was his only hope. Truth is truth. Matthew, tell me if I'm wrong on this, but I think the divorce records, you have to search county by county, right? They're maintained at a county level. And does he have to get divorced in the county he got married in Texas, if that's a thing? I know there's some interesting laws about marriage and divorce in Texas that are a little different than some of the other states. Fancy just asked our biggest question. What did Fancy say? Can he get out on appeal? Yes, Fancy, he can. Every convict is entitled to the right to appeal. You heard the judge talk to him about that. Basically, said, "Do you have plans to appeal?" And he said, "Yep, I do." And he said, "Well, you need a lawyer appointed to you?" He said, "Yeah, I'd like that." And so he's already getting a public defender again. These were public defenders right here, the two that he had right now. But yeah. Lori's not feeling well tonight. Lori, get feeling better, please. Get some rest. Hopefully get back on your feet again. That would be great. Thank you for being here, by the way. Let's hope civil findings would attach all his profits and revenues to the victims' families. There's a chance, and I imagine that will proceed. But 100%, yes, 100% he will appeal. I mean, what does he have to lose? If he appeals, it's only upside for him. He's got public defenders. It's not out-of-pocket expense to do so. I mean, I know it's frustrating for a lot of people to say, how can they waste so much money? Well, this is the process we have in this country, and it's frustrating for some, but it's also the best method to ensure that guilty people are found guilty and the innocent people are not found guilty. Absolutely, the families could pursue a civil case against him, possibly even the Border Patrol. That would be interesting. Would they have to prove the Border Patrol had some sort of knowledge of prior acts or current acts, or show that there's some sort of negligence on their part to have the Border Patrol be liable? That's an interesting idea. What's up next, Jojo? Possibly tomorrow we've got a hearing for the OnlyFans murder trial. It's just a bond hearing, but it might be interesting to catch up on that one. I also want to catch up on what's happening with Sarah Boone down in Florida with the suitcase murder, because she has a hearing coming up, a status hearing in 13 days that we'd like to follow as well. Texas is very different. It's very interesting to see the different state laws. Ortiz looked confident he would be back out. Right. He doesn't seem too bothered. Better get going. It's 2:30 a.m. Ashley, get some sleep. Oh my goodness, girl. Yeah, go to bed, get some sleep. Thanks for being here. I appreciate you, Ashley, very much. This channel would not be the same without you here. Hopefully we can meet up tomorrow as well on the live stream then. Christine, did you hear the sister of one of the victims say, "What my heart cannot handle, I will give to God"? So beautiful. Yeah, there's a strong undercurrent of faith throughout most of those statements by the victims' families. MB says, whenever I see these killers stand there with no remorse or emotion, I struggle to process how they're not affected by what they've done to the victims' families. MB, it's possible that they are affected, or they were, and they've spent years trying to find a space in their head where they're free from their own demons. So whether they're telling themselves something, or whether it's a story justifying it, or changing the facts in their head, they've probably spent a long time getting to that point where there is no remorse or emotion, and it probably started with a lot of anxiety and regret and worry and things like that. I can promise you, he's not the only dirty Elio in Laredo, says Chandra. Unfortunately, there are some bad apples in just about every bunch. Let's see. Did Matthew say, I don't see divorce against Ortiz pending, and no, they don't have to get divorced in the county of marriage, just the county where one party resided the last 90 days. So it could be in, if they're in separate counties, it could be in either county and nothing's pending. So I'm thinking if it happened, it would have happened probably a year ago. I don't know what the rule is on a divorce. Some states allow divorces to happen very rapidly. Like you file for it, and the judge is like, okay, if you're both set on getting divorced, done. And other states have a waiting period of considerable length. Basically, you have to really intend on getting divorced and not change your mind to proceed that way. The concept of private prisons is baffling to you. Lindsay, it's an interesting idea because private prisons are, it's almost, some people say it's like a form of kidnapping. What gives a private entity the right to do something that you and I can't do? I can't hold someone in a prison, but what gives a private prison or a little company the right to do that? That should be reserved for the state, but the states say we want to contract that out. So, interesting idea. The Bush family has a stake in Texas and Florida education systems, textbook sales, and the Texas prison systems. Poor education reaps the millions and continues to contribute to. Grr. Yeah, a little bit of politics in there, but we'll let it slide this time. CB Clark. There's interesting undercurrents of information we could dig into there. Linda Hill says, recovery addict, will he have to be held in isolation because he's a cop? Linda, we're probably going to have the same treatment we saw with DB, where he just got sentenced to life in prison without parole. That's traumatic sentencing. I mean, that's something that could really influence him. The jail is responsible for his well-being, which means his safety, as well as, his maintaining his presence. And so there's a chance he'll probably be in isolation for some point, whether it's a suicide watch or not. I'm not sure. But it's up to them, basically. The judge doesn't order isolation. The jail, the sheriff's department that runs it, or the corrections facility that runs it, decides where he goes based on what they think is right for him. They're not going to want to incur additional expense to keep him in isolation if they think he can work in Gen Pop. So we might see it both ways. 60-day waiting period for a divorce, says Matthew Harris. I think what states, what is it? Nevada, you can get married like anytime, like day or night. You can go through a drive-through wedding. I'm not sure if Texas is the same way, but you have to have a waiting period, a cooling off period for the divorce. Jay Hughes says, recovery addict, what's your opinion? Do you think there may be more victims even across the border? Jay Hughes, here's what I think. I don't think people start the crime as a murderer, right? It's just like if people that get hooked on drugs, they don't start shooting up heroin. It's like the first thing I ever tried was, hey, let's throw the tourniquet on, find a vein, and shoot up type thing. That seems to be something that you work your way up to. So although there may not be more victims, it's possible that he may have had experiences or been involved with things in his law enforcement career that crossed the line, the legality line, that maybe conditioned him to get to this point. I'm not going to say that I think he's a murderer, because I think he was very truthful. It sounded truthful when he said, it's just the first one. I didn't even plan it. Just the opportunity was there, and I thought, yeah, and he did it. It was like a spur of the moment thing. He planned the other three, but I think there's something. If you could trace back the breadcrumbs, turn back the DVD of life and watch what happened, I think you would find moments in his life that seemed to lead to this decision making, where he got closer and closer to that point of just breaking the law and doing so and doing it in bigger steps. I mean, he was obviously visiting prostitutes, which I believe in Texas is probably not legal, but he had knowledge of drug houses, and he seemed to be okay with that without buying drugs for people. There's other things in his life that probably led to that. Good question though, Jay Hughes. Thank you. Let's see. If he appeals, does the family have to go through another trial? If he appeals, that's a good question. Mars House. If he appeals, and the appeal is basically that the truck search was illegal and his testimony was coerced. I'm not sure exactly how this would look, what technically the appeal would look like to have that be his reason for appeal, that those two should not have been admitted, and they were. And if the appeals court looks at that and says, you're right, then they basically throw it back to the DA's office, and say, hey, okay, so there was a mistake in trial. You guys, we have to do this again. But by the way, this time you can't use the truck evidence or anything that came from it, or the confession or anything that came from it. And looking at the other evidence they have, is almost nothing. There's nothing that links it to him. So I'd say if he wins the appeal, I think he's out. I don't think there would be a second trial. I don't think the DA would try to get him on that. There's just no evidence that they could use to find him guilty. I mean, possibly a much lower crime, maybe. And maybe he would still be found guilty in a civil court where there's a lower burden of proof. But it would be, I don't know. That's my take. I think if he wins an appeal, I think he's out. Let's see. Does anyone ever worry about contracting out incarceration could turn into the Stanford experiment 2.0? Yeah, that's why there are strict standards for them. They're supposed to follow very strict standards and supposed to be monitored. But whether or not that happens, I don't know. If he appeals, the family would only have to endure another trial if the judgment is overturned and remanded for a new trial. Yeah, and if that happens, would the DA drop the charges? That's my question. Or would he go through the process even?
Judge Oscar L. Jr. presiding.
Oh, here comes extra audio.
Michelle, did you get the lights from the judge?
KSAT is just barely airing things. What is this?
Jury reached a verdict.
Yeah, so KSAT's just bringing the verdict in. I had that playing in the background, but we'll turn it off. Okay. Welcome, KSAT. Welcome to the real world. We were all there about an hour ago. Smiling Faces Sometimes. I love the name. Thanks for being here. Says, Recovery Addict, seems to me that when criminals have a free attorney, they always lose. Am I wrong? No. But the last couple cases we've watched, the people have been very guilty, or at least that's what the evidence seems to point to. There are some very good free attorneys, and it's not a free attorney; it's just free to them, right? The attorney is still getting paid. They're just being paid by the state instead of by the individual who they're defending. But I don't think that the public defender attorneys always lose. Usually, I think you see in like smaller courts, like where you've got like a drug possession charge or something like that. To me, I see that public defender has the appearance of not being able to really handle your case. You barely get to hear anything from him. You see him once or twice, and he's like, "I'm just going to handle this. Is what we're going to do," and it goes through and they might do the best thing for you, but it rarely is a very stout defense of we're not guilty of this and we're going to fight it all the way through a jury trial. But that's just my impression. Okay. Marcy, he's going to make the appeal for sure. The appeal will be submitted, but very few of them are granted. He had a $2.5 million bail before. He couldn't meet the 10% to get bonded out. That's why he remained in custody. Why can just one family get the death penalty off the table or not? Am I wrong? Mac, I don't think it was just one family. And there may have been other reasons. It may have been that the district attorney thought for some reason that they would not be able to reach that high level for a death penalty. They wouldn't be able to convince a jury of that. And so they went for what they knew they could reach. Michelle says, Recovery Addict, the judge is on vacation since the trial ended earlier than 2 weeks. Yeah, he gets a little bit of a break, but he's probably not really on a vacation. He has probably other stuff to do and prepare for. I truly hope for those families he doesn't win, says Mars House. Yeah, but at the same time, our legal system affords that to everyone. So if you got wrongfully convicted, Mars House, you would want that ability to have an appeal, to have somebody else who may not have been, maybe the judge was biased, right? Maybe the judge completely, was biased and should have recused himself from your trial where you were found guilty. Of course you want to be able to appeal that and have someone else that's not him look at that and say, yeah, that's a little shady. It's been a long court-filled day. It has for everybody, and it started with 3 hours of nothing for us. I don't think there's as much chance they will get the confession thrown out. That might not be enough to overturn the verdict. Welcome to night court. Right, it's officially nighttime where I'm at as well. But what grounds would there be to exclude truck evidence? ODD, that would have to mean that that the exception for not searching the truck there was not met, that he didn't abandon the truck, that the judge's ruling that that evidence was admissible because it was an exception to require for a warrant for the search was incorrect, and that would throw that evidence out. Got anything from Knoxville tonight? We can if you want. I have a little bit ready to go. Let me turn this off right here. Do you want a quick one from Knoxville? Just one? While I hurry up and get everything turned on here. Just 1 second. I won't be able to do any of the chats while we watch this. But let me show you this one. Let me back up where it starts. And this is a sad case. This is basically she's a poster child for don't do drugs. But it is sort of interesting. Let me take, we're on camera 5. Switch your camera 5, bring in some audio. Okay. We watch this, but let me show you this one. Oh, I'm bringing in my other audio first. This is a sad case. Hold on just one second. I've got myself playing in the background, which is no bueno. So this one I'm going to pause. I'm going to pause me and play this one. Okay. Okay. Here we go. I think we've got audio coming in. Yeah, we do.
Ms. Kasaki, you've been charged with drug paraphernalia. That would be a Class A misdemeanor if convicted.
Drug paraphernalia.
Why are they here? Why are you guys here? This is my business. Does it have to do with me moving? Because I'd like to stay here. They already asked me to stay in classification. I said, no, I want to stay in this building. But I'll go with you. Don't do it as like a DR or anything like that, please. Because you guys harass me every time. Focus on your right. Because I can't focus on it when you guys bring in 15 cops. You do this to me every single time. Can I ask why they're here?
They work at the jail.
Here?
Why are you here?
No, you're busting. Are you allowed to arrest someone when they're busting? Because, can you hear me, Your Honor?
I can hear you, but I don't understand what you're talking about.
They paused me. Okay, are you even allowed to arrest somebody while they're busting? I mean, while the officer was busting while he arrested me. Is that even legal? Because I'm new at this busting thing.
I don't know.
Are you allowed to arrest someone while you're
You're
busting?
not allowed to, but
Okay. You've been charged with disorderly conduct and public
Yes, sir.
intoxication. That'd be a Class
Yes,
C
sir.
misdemeanor each.
Yes.
And you've been charged with aggravated burglary. That'd be a Class C felony. You understand
Yeah,
what you're charged with?
I don't understand it. I don't go in anywhere. That I'm not even. They harass me every single day. The police do. Every single day they ask me my name. Every single day they say, "Don't come back here, Lisa." In like a Planet X, I was going to look for some clothing. I saw a friend of mine in there, and then all of a sudden they bring like a little cop there around her, and I go outside.
So time out.
Time out.
Burglary is.
Do you know what burglary
Yeah,
is?
when you break and enter somebody's house.
Okay.
Is that what that is?
Well, with
something?
intent to commit a theft, felony, or assault.
Oh my God, no way.
No way.
It's not me, never.
Drug.
No.
Do you know what drug paraphernalia is?
Yes, I do.
Oh yeah, I know what drug paraphernalia is.
Disorderly conduct and public intoxication are.
Yes, I know what all of those are.
Okay.
Yes. No, intoxication is when you're into your X chromosome. It's all something else for someone else.
Would you like
And
me
I
to read the
belong with Frank
allegations?
Aaron. I was trying to get back to him for a long time.
Would you like me to read
They
the
won't let me.
allegations?
They won't let us be together. Go ahead, sir.
Would you like me to read the allegations?
No, thanks, sir.
Okay, you have some rights I need to go over. The first is that you have the right to remain silent. No one can force
Yes,
you to
sir.
make any statements. Any that you make voluntarily can be used against you. You have the right to an attorney. If you cannot afford one, I can appoint one for you.
I've got an attorney. David Poss is my attorney, Your Honor.
Okay, and you have the right to a preliminary hearing. That is a probable cause hearing where the judge will hear the evidence against you and decide whether this case is strong enough to be bound over the grand jury for further prosecution. You understand those rights?
Yes, I do, Your Honor.
Would you like me to appoint an attorney to represent you?
Yes, David Poss is my attorney. He's paid attorney, sir.
Hey,
Thank you.
okay. I need to ask you some questions on oath to make sure you qualify and to set your bonds. If you raise your right hand and be sworn in.
Yes, sir.
This is the uniform affidavit of indigency that you filled out of the jail.
She's like
You
all
swear
over
or
the place.
affirm that everything you filled out on this form, any testimony you give is true and accurate.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. You have a job?
No, I don't.
Any property,
Yeah.
house, or car that you own?
No.
Any forms of income or of assets?
Not that I know of.
Do you have any forms of
Live in
income or
Knoxville?
assets? Not that I know of.
Yes, I do.
How long you lived here?
It's going on 7 years. Craig and I moved up here from South Carolina.
Tell me more.
You have family here?
Invited and yet invited by his family. And yes, right with my hair.
There goes your hair. What are you talking about?
Yeah, the hair. It was the first busting day I experienced my hair. They said Frank was peeing on my hair and it went all the way up to my head like this. It happens. I don't know. It's a sign. Somebody's telling me something and I don't understand it all the time.
Okay. And is there anybody that would vouch for your liability to show up in court?
I didn't understand what you said. I'm sorry.
Is there anybody that would vouch for your reliability to show up in court?
Yes.
Who would that be?
David Poss, Frank Barron, and my mom and dad, Patricia and Michael Pirati. I don't miss court date. Don't miss them.
Wait.
Even when I got a jaywalking ticket and had to walk all over Tennessee to find out where it was at. It was ridiculous. I got there though. It literally took me about 4 hours. They drove me this way, that way. The bus drivers had to keep coming. It was ridiculous. It was ridiculous. Big man, you couldn't give me the answer to it. Big, court man.
And I'm going to set the bond on the aggravated burglary at $1,500.
Justin was walking.
As a condition of that bond, should you post it, you're not to have any contact or communication with the alleged victim.
Okay.
There is
who is
none.
a Martha Lopez. Then on the public intoxication and the disorderly conduct, I'm going to set it at $250 each. And then on the drug paraphernalia, I'm going to set it at $500, so that's a total of $2,500. And I'm going to set this in felony court on Tuesday for a bond review, so that if you are unable to post this bond, the judge can reconsider it at that time. If you do post it, they'll give you a different court date to go to when you're being released. Go to that one instead. And as soon as it's done printing out, I'll get you an attorney.
Okay, so you just say as soon as you go to that bond hearing, then you can go to another court for what? I didn't understand the second court.
What it is we set a bond hearing so that if you don't post the bonds that we set, then they can reconsider them and look at it again. If you do post them, they'll give you a different court date to go to, so you don't have to go to
Gotcha. I got you. Okay. And then you argue, and then David Poss, my attorney, right?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. We'll see.
Okay. Yeah, I told you he's paid for. He's my paid attorney. I've had him all along. I don't know if you heard me say that or not.
Okay, so she literally just went through the process of getting a public defender, and she's said all along
So
that
it looks like he is currently
that he's paid for.
appointed to represent you in another
But
case.
he's appointed.
Amen. Yeah. It's already over. We did that case. It's over. It's over.
And I will appoint him to
He
represent
took it
you in
off.
this
It was
case.
cool. That's it. Amen.
Well,
She's like, yeah,
Cool.
got the same guy.
And what's my bond again? What's my bond? I didn't hear my bond.
waive the administrative fee that we normally assess for the appointment of counsel.
Amen.
Okay, because it's already been assessed in a pending case.
Okay, cool.
And Mr.
What is
Porter's
my
telephone number.
okay, box number? Go.
This is so bad.
is
Imagine if they gave her a
584
wool sweater to wear.
4416.
Matthew, you're awful.
Trying to get a hold of him prior to your court date, which if you don't post the bond will be on Tuesday. And the bond
And
is
what is
$2,500 total.
2,500 total? Okay, cool.
That's all I got.
Is any of that, is the 2,500 total? I guess I'll have to talk to a bondsman. Is any of that to be brought down to
If you go to court, they can reconsider it, yes.
I got you. Otherwise, it's 2,500 set, or can I get them to come down on that?
No, it's 10% through a bonding company.
Amen. All right. Thank you. God bless you.
Have a good morning.
That's all I got, Royson.
Alrighty.
Okay, so so that was the one I wanted you guys to watch. Let's come back here so I can get your chat back here. Crazy, absolutely crazy that one was. Let's see, restore chat. Go back to live here. I need to turn the audio off. Off there. Play live here. Restore chat. This is a big endeavor. I shouldn't have used this one. I should have used the other computer to make it happen. Okay, but now I'm back, and now I can bring your chats back. So yeah, we're good. What do you guys think? Meth withdrawals, probably what they call meth mites. They have this itchy feel. Norma says, "Hey, sorry I'm late. Recovery Addict is making me a YouTube addict. I'm sorry. It's just there's just so much we need to watch together. I don't think she actually has a a condition with like bugs or something. It's Tish says I literally just caught myself self-scratching. Had shampoo and conditioner. Right. It's an effect of using meth. That's why you get these red marks that they just pick at. They just feel like they itch all the time. They dig at it and they cannot stop. It's typical with meth users that have used for a moderate amount of time. It happens quickly. Meth is horrible. It is absolutely horrible. You don't want to get messed up in that. It needs to get out. But at the same time, it's sad. You realize she's struggling. Her life is falling apart because of her addiction, and this is a cycle she's in. She just barely finished a previous case, and this cycle that she's in here just repeats. It's rinse, wash, repeat. Sorry if I used that analogy. That might be the wrong one, but it just goes in a circle, and she needs some help to get out and a support system. And also she has to handle the penalty for her actions as well. For all her problems, at least she hasn't murdered several prostitutes. That's a good point. Her case is not nearly as bad. $250 is what she needs to come up with to get out on bond, which apparently she thinks she can probably do, and make it over. Almost 12 hours together to gonna have withdrawal itches tomorrow. Well, we're gonna start at 9 a.m. tomorrow, and we'll look at something. It might just be a morning meeting, and then we'll see what happens. If the OnlyFans murder trial hearing is in the morning, we might stay live for that. But if it's in the afternoon, we'll probably have a drop off. I'll probably do a lot of research on Sarah Boone tomorrow. I'm trying to put together a video on that will bring people up to speed on that case. ODD. They don't see it. When they're in there, they don't see it from the inside. It's hard to see what drugs do to you. But yeah, anyway, thank you guys. First of all, thank you for being here. I appreciate all the support you guys give the channel. You guys are amazing. Thanks for bringing friends and watching. If you're new here and like what you see and like the crowd you see in chat, please make yourself a home. Hit that subscribe button. Ring the bell so you know that it will go off every time that I come here. And you can join us for more of these exciting court cases, because there are many more in the books. We have many more that we watch over on the YouTube channel, on the Discord channel as the gavel drops. A big shout out to Toxic Orchid and Lil Miss for that one. But please do come back. We can have some fun tomorrow as well. Does anybody have anything else before we go? Any big announcements? Any trial suggestions? Any of that? Oh, we'll be on tomorrow. We'll be back tomorrow somehow. Thanks, Katrina. I appreciate you being here every day. 21-year-old guy overdosed yesterday right down the road. He was a pretty smart fella yesterday. Yeah, drugs are a monster. Get to bed and get some sleep. Yep, we've got a new day tomorrow. This is a comfortable place to be. I'm glad you can be here. Jay Hughes, I'm not sure why, but YouTube held this comment right here for a review. The 3 emojis of houses, and I approved it. So there it is. Thank you for popping on for us, addicts. Good seeing you guys again tonight. Yeah, I'm sorry I missed it. I'm sorry I was gone for an hour, and that's when all the action happened. Have a good evening, Michelle, Jojo, everybody, Golden Girl, and did we give the internet away tonight? Did I forget that? I don't know who has the internet. Golden, can you take the internet if it wasn't you, Golden Mom? I think it was you, but anyway, what time tomorrow, Joelle? I'm on at 9 a.m. Eastern time because I'm in North Carolina. So we'll be on that time, and we'll have some information about what's going to happen during the day, and either we'll go straight from that live at 9 a.m. into the trial watch, or we'll have a little break and then reconvene when those things happen. But we'll be on at 9 a.m. either way. All right, thank you guys. It's time for a little bit of music, and I'll roll the outro here. There we go. Big shout out for Matthew Harris Law. Thank you so much for all the feedback and answers you give us day in and day out on the stream. In between doing your real legal work, thank you for being here and supporting the members of the channel and answering their questions, both here and on the Discord channel. Please go check out his channel. Click the link here that I've got on the screen. Just scroll up a little bit. You can click that in the chat window. If you do that, you will not be disappointed. You will find great legal analysis and video commentary about a lot of Texas law and some beyond that you can appreciate and make use of and change your life, and it will be better because of it. Thank you, Matthew. We'll have to talk soon about what we can do together on the channel with your streaming station that we're getting set up for you, or you're getting set up for us, I should say. Thanks all. Appreciate it. Night all. Love you. Give a hug to the people you love. Smile somebody, make their day a little bit better. And until tomorrow, until we live stream again, please stay safe. Thank you.